During their long lives, the Stoics learned how to understand people, including how complicated women's minds can be. They believed that true power comes from controlling oneself, and how you deal with the world, this ancient wisdom can be used today to modern life, especially when it comes to attraction and intimacy. In today's episode, we'll talk about how to make a magnetic pole so strong when you're sitting next to a woman that 99% of girls will feel an irresistible pull toward you. We're not just talking about how to get closer physically, we're also talking about the mental and emotional parts that make these times so powerful, like how to use the right body language and pick up on the subtle cues that make people want to be with you. You will learn how to connect better in each lesson. Don't forget to watch until the end to get the whole picture. If you enjoyed this video, please like, follow, and share your thoughts below. Tell us your stories if you have any, and let's begin. Chapter 1. You sit close. There's more to sitting close to a woman than just getting closer to her. It's about making an atmosphere of closeness that goes beyond words. You get closer, which opens the door to a deeper relationship. Ones that are based on minor psychological cues and body language, as when you sit close to her, you are consciously moving into her private space. If you do it right, this can spark an interest that words alone might not be able to do. Being sure of yourself is one of the most important parts of sitting close. Trust is important here. Any hint of doubt or nerves can quickly ruin the moment. Women are very aware of the energy you give off, and any doubt can make her feel uneasy. Stoics, who were great at controlling their emotions and self-control, would stress how important it is to stay calm. In these situations, they believe that a man should always be in charge of himself, especially when he's close to someone he wants. This means keeping your cool and controlling your body language. Sitting close with ease and confidence lets her know that you're okay with being close, which can make her feel more at ease and open to connect with you. But keep in mind that sitting close isn't just about where you fit physically. Place yourself. How you stand in relation to hers is also important. Lean in just a little to show interest without being too close. This small lean can show warmth and interest without coming across as too eager or desperate. Your body language should be open and relaxed, and you should face her without blocking her view. Finding the right balance between closeness and respect is what makes your presence feel welcoming instead of overwhelming. If you do it right, this can make her more open to you being there and more likely to connect with you on a deeper level. Also, sitting close to her makes it easier to pick up on her subtle cues. Watch how she reacts to your proximity. Does she lean in closer, make eye contact, or play with her hair? These are all signs that she's come comfortable with you and maybe even attracted to you. Being able to read these cues is important because they will help you decide what to do next. You can keep making the connection if she's sending positive signals, if she seems uncomfortable or distant. On the other hand, you may want to give her a little more space. Another important thing about sitting close is that it lets you create a shared moment. Being close to a woman is more than just being physically close to her. It's about making a space where intimacy can grow. It's about being confident, respectful, and observant so that she feels both intrigued and at ease in your presence. By mastering the art of sitting close, you set the stage for a deeper connection that can lead to genuine attraction. The Stoics knew that true power comes from within, and by tapping into that inner strength, you can make powerful connections with others, including the women you desire. Part 2, maintaining a woman's interest, is important when you're sitting close together, but it takes more than just being close to her to keep her attention. You need to create a dynamic interaction that captivates. How women are naturally drawn to men who can keep them thinking and feeling. Stoics, who were experts at conversation and connecting with people, said that this is where you can really show how smart and emotionally intelligent you are to start. Make sure the conversation is about something interesting, but not too serious. Light-hearted banter, interesting questions, and sharing experiences can keep the conversation going. And fun. It's not about impressing her with big stories or trying to take over the conversation. Instead, it's about making her feel at ease and ready to contribute. The more you keep her involved in the conversation, the more she'll connect your presence with good feelings, which is important for making her feel connected to you. Body language, part of human interaction, and that when used correctly, it can bring out stronger emotions and deeper connections. To sum up, introducing flotation is about finding the right balance between confidence and subtlety to make her feel both interested and valued. By gradually making eye contact, teasing her, and touching her lightly, you can create a flirty atmosphere that deepens the connection and makes her more attracted to you. Chapter 4. Touching someone you like can be a strong way to show interest and build intimacy without words. But you need to be careful not to lose your confidence, sensitivity, and respect. Touch is one of the most direct ways to show attraction, but it needs to be done with care so that it strengthens the relationship instead of making it worse. Stoics, who were known for being very smart about how to deal with people, would say that these kinds of actions should be based on respect and care, so that your touch is both welcome and valued. Being present in the moment is key to starting a touch. Look for natural times to make light, non-intrusive contact, like when you're laughing together, telling a private joke, or emphasizing a point in a conversation. These moments should feel natural and unforced, in line with the Stoic principle of living in harmony with the natural flow of events. For example, when you're handing her a drink or showing her something on your phone, let your fingers briefly brush against hers. These small, seemingly incidental touches can help build closeness without coming across as pushy as you start to introduce touch. Start with the lightest and briefest contacts. A gentle brush of your fingers against hers or a momentary touch on her hand can show interest while still being subtle. Stoics believed in the power of subtlety and the importance of taking measured actions. In this situation, your light touch lets her know that you're interested in her without making her feel rushed or overwhelmed. If she smiles, keeps eye contact, or doesn't pull away, that can be taken as a sign that she's okay with more touch. Once you're both comfortable, you can slowly increase how often and how strongly you touch each other. You should move from brief, unplanned touches to more intentional ones, like lightly holding her hand for a moment longer, or running your fingers along the back of her hand. These actions should still be subtle and gentle, in line with the Stoic ideal of moderation. The goal is to create a gradual progression of closeness, so she can get used to it at her own pace. At every step, it's important to pay attention to how she reacts. Holding your hand leaning in closer or making more physical contact herself is a strong sign that she's enjoying the interaction and feels comfortable with you. If she pulls away, tenses up, or seems uncomfortable, it's important to respect her boundaries and not go any further. Stoics stress the importance of self-discipline and controlling one's wants. In this case, that means knowing when to back off and give her space. It's also important to be aware of how your touch makes her feel physical. Touch is more than just a mechanical action. It's a way to communicate your feelings and intentions. When you touch her fingers or hands, you're sending a message of warmth, care, and connection. The Stoics believed in the power of intention, so your goal should be to give her a positive, emotional EXP experience that makes her feel better and strengthens your relationship. Also, think about when and where you touch her. The mood around you can have a big effect on how your touch is received. For example, a light touch in a quiet private conversation will probably have a different effect than the same touch in a busy public place. The Stoics would tell you to be aware of the situation and make sure that your actions are appropriate for it. Finally, keep in mind that initiating touch doesn't mean making quick physical contact. It means making a link that feels natural and mutual to initiate light touch. You need to be confident, sensitive, and respectful of her boundaries and feelings. The goal is not to dominate or control her, but to make her feel valued and understood by approaching touch with care and thought. You can create moments of genuine connection that resonate with both of you on a deeper level. Being aware of the moment and starting with light touches that build up over time can help you create a sense of closeness that strengthens your connection with her and makes her more interested in you. The Stoics said that in all situations, but especially when it comes to love, you should act with wisdom, patience, and a clear goal to create something meaningful and lasting. The fifth whisper in her ear is, if you're sitting close to a woman, speaking in her ear is a very private and effective way to get to know her better. Being close to her by whispering gets you closer, and the sound of your voice so close also plays a big part in keeping her involved. When you're sitting close, use small gestures to support what you're saying. A small touch on the arm when you want to show that you're listening, or making strong eye contact can help you connect with someone better. The Stoics thought that body language was very important, and that what you don't say is often just as important as what you do say, showing that you are fully present with her through your body language. And listening is another important way to keep her interested. Women are often more attracted to men who listen carefully than those who just wait their turn to talk. When she says something, respond with thought and ask follow-up questions that show you're genuinely interested. This not only keeps the conversation going, but it also makes her feel valued and understood, which can deepen the emotional connection. The Stoics would tell you to practice active listening, because it not only builds rapport but also shows respect and empathy as the talk goes on. Do not be afraid to add some surprise. Tell her interesting things about your life, but don't tell her everything at once. Leave some details open-ended or imply that there's more to your story than what you're telling. This subtle play of withholding information can pique her interest and make her more interested in getting to know you better. Women are naturally curious, and by hiding some parts of your life, you create a sense of intrigue that draws her in. Finally, be aware of the balance between speaking and silence. When you're close, a comfortable silence can be just as powerful as words. Stoics valued the art of silence because they knew that deepest connections are often made in quiet moments. By embracing silence, you let the tension build, which makes the next words you say even more powerful. To sum up, keeping her interested while sitting close isn't just about talking. It's about making an experience that is intellectually stimulating, emotionally satisfying, and slightly mysterious. By mastering the art of engaging her mind and emotions, you make her more invested in the interaction, which increases her attraction to you. Chapter 3. Introduce flirtation slowly while keeping her interested. It's important to slowly start flirting with her. Flirting is an art that, when done right, can build a strong connection cushion and make her more attracted to you. However, it's important to approach this step with care and finesse, making sure that her advances are received and returned. Stoics say that real confidence comes from within, and that your flirtation should be a natural extension of your confidence, not a forced or desperate attempt to win her over. To make your eye contact stronger when you're sat close together. Making and keeping eye contact can help you feel more connected and intimate. Look at them for a little longer than normal. And don't be afraid to show a little smile. These body language cues are often the first step in flirting. They let the other person know you're interested without saying a word. The Stoics believed in the power of subtlety, knowing that the most powerful messages are often those that aren't said once you've made eye contact. Start teasing them in a playful way. Light-hearted teasing is a great way to make the conversation fun and flirty. It shows that you're comfortable making fun of yourself and her without taking things too seriously. The key is to keep the teasing light and never say or do anything that could be seen as offensive, rude, and mean. The goal is to make her laugh, smile, and feel comfortable around you, along with teasing her use. Light, relaxed language. For example, if she tells you a joke or says something funny, lightly touch her arm or shoulder to make her laugh. These small actions can build a physical connection that goes along with what you say. One touch is a great way to flirt because it can show attention and make you feel close. The calm ones, people who value human connection, would tell you to be aware of how your touch is received and pay attention to her body language. If responds positively, you can continue, but if she seems uncomfortable, you should back off and respect her boundaries. As the conversation gets more flirtatious, you can start to offer compliments, but they should be specific and genuine instead of general or overly lavish. Tell her you appreciate something about her. Like her smile, you can make her feel special and loved by complimenting her on something funny she does, or something unique you've noticed about her. This is a key part of building attraction. Lastly, as the flirtation gets stronger, start to build tension. You can do this by pausing the conversation and just looking at her, letting the moment hang in the air. These pauses can create a sense of anticipation and excitement, making the interaction feel more charged and personal. The Stoics knew that tension is a normal can give her chills to make sure this method works, though it needs to be delivered at the right time and with a deep understanding of the situation. The Stoics were famous for how well they could speak calmly and how much they knew about the power of words. Says that the words and tone you use are just as important as the act itself. First, the timing of your whisper is very important. It should happen after the conversation has already reached a level of comfort and closeness. Maybe you want to share a private joke or make a comment that's only meant for her ears. This is not something to rush into. Whispering too soon can feel too personal and could make the situation awkward. The Stoics valued patience and the ability to read the room, which in this case means waiting for the perfect moment when whispering feels natural and right. Check out the flow of the conversation and the emotional tone before leaning in. When you do decide to whisper, the words you use are, whether you share a compliment, a witty remark, or something that only the two of you understand, the words you choose should make her feel special and appreciated. The Stoics believed that words had the power to shape relationships, and this is a great example of how that power can be used well. What you say should really hit home with her on an emotional level, making a shared moment that makes your relationship stronger. The tone of your voice. When you whisper, it should be soft, warm, and inviting. This creates a sense of closeness that brings her closer. Just like the way you say something can often make a bigger difference than the topic. A soft, almost breathy tone can make the moment feel more personal and emotional. The Stoics said to pay attention to how you say things because they can say more than just words. Your tone should subtly show that you're interested and attracted to her, and your body language is also important. As you lean in to whisper, your closeness to her should feel natural and not intrusive. The Stoics believed in moderation in everything, and in this case, that means finding the right balance between being close and giving her space. Your goal is to create a moment of connection, not to make her feel crowded or uncomfortable. A slight tilt of your head, a gentle touch on her arm as you lean in. These small gestures can add layers of meaning to the whisper, making it more than just words after you've whispered in her ear. It's essential to pay close attention to her reaction. If she smiles, laughs, or responds positively, it's a clear sign that she appreciated the gesture. This reaction indicates that she's comfortable with the level of intimacy you've introduced and is likely feeling more connected to you as a result. However, if she seems taken aback or uncomfortable, it's important to recognize this and adjust your approach accordingly. The Stoics believed in the importance of adapting to the situation. And in this case, that means being attuned to her responses and respecting her boundaries. If she seems uneasy, it's best to ease off and return to a more neutral form of conversation. The emotional context of the whisper is another critical factor. Whispering isn't just a physical act. It's also a way to share feelings and get closer to someone, emotionally talking to her in her ear. With a whisper is more than just touching her. It sends a message of connection, warmth and care. Stoics believed in the power of intent. In this case, your intention should be to give her a positive and personal emotional experience. Your whisper should make her feel loved and understood, which will strengthen your emotional bond with her. Additionally, a well-timed whisper can have an effect that lasts beyond the moment. It can create a memory of a private moment that the two of you share that he may remember. With fondness later on, this shared experience can become a touchstone in your relationship, something that strengthens your bond with her. The Stoics knew how important it was to build strong, meaningful relationships through thoughtful and deliberate actions, in addition to the first whisper. Think about how you could build on this moment with more whispers. As the evening goes on, you can using whispering as a repeating theme can bring her closer and strengthen the connection. This can create a rhythm of closeness where each whisper builds on the last, making the link between you stronger over time. The Stoics believed in the value of consistency and perseverance, which in this case means making the connection stronger through your actions and words over time. Finally, if you pick the right time, whispering in her ear while you're sitting close is a powerful and private way to strengthen your connection and make the experience memorable by speaking in a soft, warm tone and paying close attention to how she reacts and how she feels. You can make her feel special, valued, and drawn to you. If you use this technique with confidence and sensitivity, it can increase her attraction and help you build a stronger, more meaningful relationship with her. The Stoics would remind you that your words, tone, and intention should all work together to make a positive and lasting impact in every interaction, but especially in a close one. Like this, 1:6. The book read her response as you continue to get to know her through close talk and subtle touches. It's important to pay close attention to how she responds to your advances. If you want to know if she's genuinely interested and happy with the direction the conversation is going, you need to read her response correctly. The Stoics, who were keen observers of human behavior, would say that this step requires patience, awareness, and a deep respect for her feelings and boundaries. First, look at her body language. If she's leaning in, closer, moving in sync with you, or making eye contact. These are all good signs that she's comfortable with you and might be interested in you. On the other hand, if she's pulling away, this is a bad sign. If she crosses her arms, comes or doesn't look at you, it could mean she's not as interested or comfortable as you had thought. The Stoics thought it was important to be aware of the subtleties of human interaction. They knew that deeds and body language often spoke louder than words. Pay attention to what she says. Does she laugh at your jokes, respond thoughtfully to your comments, or ask you questions in return? Positive verbal responses indicate that she's engaged in the conversation and enjoys your company. However, if her responses are short, hesitant, or if she frequently changes the subject, you might suggest that she's not fully invested in the interaction. The Stoics valued clear and honest communication. And this extends to being able to read between the lines of what is said and unsaid. Reciprocation also extends to how she responds to physical touch. If you've initiated light touches or leaning closer to whisper, how does she react if she reciprocates? With touches of her own, maintains physical closeness or even initiates touch. These are strong indicators that she's attracted to you and comfortable with the level of intimacy. Conversely, if she pulls away or seems stiff when you touch her, it's important to respect her boundaries and refrain from pushing further. The Stoics taught the importance of moderation and self-control, and in this context, that means not forcing an interaction that isn't mutual. Another aspect to consider is the overall mood of the interaction. Is she relaxed, smiling and enjoying herself, or does she seem distracted, tense or disinterested? The general vibe can give you valuable insights into whether she's reciprocating your interest or simply being polite. Stoics believe that relationships should have harmony and balance. Part of that balance is figuring out when things are easily moving forward and when they aren't. Finally, pay attention to her comfort level. No matter if she's returning the favour, it's important to make sure she's really happy and not just going along with it to be nice. The Stoic stressed how important it is to understand and empathise with others in all situations. In this case, that means paying attention to her wants and needs and being ready to slow down or change direction if needed by being aware of, respectful of and responsive to her signals. Through body language, verbal cues and general level of comfort, you can figure out if she's interested and at ease, which will help you handle the situation in a way that respects her boundaries and strengthens the connection. The seventh, take it further. If you've carefully read her body language and found that she's interested in you too, the next step is to take the conversation further if you can. This is where things could go from flirting to something more intimate. But it's important to be careful and sensitive, making sure that any advances you make are both welcomed and appreciated. People who follow the Stoics say that true wisdom is knowing when to act and when to hold back to take things further. You need to be in the present moment and look for signs that she's interested in deepening the connection, such as lingering eye contact touches or a more personal tone in the conversation. If the mood is right, you might consider moving closer or making a bolder move like holding her hand or brushing her hair back from her face. Stoic thought it was important to be fully present and involved in the present moment. This is especially true when deciding how to take a conversation to the next level before making any big moves. It is important to make sure that both sides have a clear goal. Ask yourself if her actions and words have consistently shown that she's comfortable and interested in you. If there's any doubt or if her signals have been mixed, it's better to err on the side of caution. The Stoics valued prudence and self-restraint, recognizing that it's better to miss an opportunity than to risk overstepping boundaries. If the opportunity does seem right, proceed with confidence but also with care. If you decide to initiate a kiss, for example, do so slowly and gain her response. If she responds positively, you can proceed. If she hesitates or pulls away, respect her boundaries and don't push further. The Stoics believed in the virtue of temperance, acting with moderation, and understanding the limits of what is appropriate. It's also important to communicate clearly and honestly. If you're feeling a strong connection and to take things further, it's okay to express that. Verbally, you might say something like, "I really enjoy spending time with you," or "I feel a strong connection between us." This not only clarifies your intentions, but also gives her the opportunity to express how she's feeling. The Stoics believed in communication that is clear and honest is very important when dealing with close relationships. Finally, be ready to accept her answer. No matter what it is, if she wants to take things further, that's great. But if not, accept her choice without any drama. The Stoic taught us that we should focus on what we can control, our actions and reactions, rather than trying to change the outcome. If she says she's not ready or interested, respect her choice and continue to be kind and respectful to her. In conclusion, going further when the chance arises requires balancing confidence with respect and making sure that your actions are in line with her wants and comfort level. By paying attention to the present, you can deepen your connection with her in a way that feels natural and satisfying for both of you. As this episode comes to a close, it's clear that each of the techniques we've looked at, subtlety, confidence, and respect, is needed to make a strong connection with someone while staying close and interested. I started a light touch and whispered in her ear, "It's important to be able to read her answers and know when to take things further to strengthen your relationship and increase your attraction." Stoic showed us that balance and understanding are at the heart of human connection. By keeping these ideas in mind, you can not only make meaningful connections, but also encourage real, respectful interactions. Remember that the goal is to make you and your partner feel safe and comfortable so that you can explore your relationship without feeling rushed or out of place. If you like these ideas, don't forget to watch all the way to the end. Also, please subscribe to our channel for more tricks and tips. Tell us about your own experiences and how you've used these techniques in your own life. In the comments, your feedback helps us make material that speaks to you and other people who are also on the journey of mastering the art of connection. Thanks for coming today. See you next time. Stay true to the art of respect and subtlety in your relationships. We'll see you in the next show.